Hello students, today we are going to learn about SI engine, phases of combustion in SI engine, and we will also learn about what is knocking. Okay, so directly coming to the topic without wasting time. Okay, so I believe that you have the knowledge of what are the strokes of engine. Those are suction, compression, working, and exhaust. In suction, the charge is sucked. In compression, it is compressed. Then spark is introduced. Then the charge burns. Then working stroke, and then exhaust. Okay, so here I will particularly talk about that how combustion occurs inside SI engine, the science of that combustion only. So I will talk about the stages of combustion or phases of combustion, not strokes. Strokes are different, I already told. Okay. So we'll understand this by the help of chain firecracker analogy, and it will be very easy to understand the phases of combustion as well as knocking. Okay. So you can see over here, this is the cylinder, piston, and inlet outlet valve. This is the spark plug. And suppose this is the end of compression stroke, means suction, the charge is pulled and then compression. Now this charge is going to burn. Okay. Now what will happen? The spark will be introduced. Okay. So this is, you can see chain firecracker. Okay. So when the fuse of this chain firecracker is ignited, then the flame travels and reach to the first cracker. And from there, the cracking of all these crackers starts. Okay. So there will be some time, means the fuse is ignited and that flame will reach the first cracker. Like same, when the spark is introduced in the mixture, then at the same time, the flame will not start, the ignition will not start, it will take some time. Okay, so that is called as first phase of combustion, that is ignition lag. You can see that this fuse is ignited and here the spark is introduced. Okay, so the flame is going to the first cracker, like saying that initially it was spark and ultimately it converted into a very small flame, and here this first nucleus of flame is developed. Okay, so there is a time in between, however that time duration may be of milliseconds. Okay, so that is called as first phase of combustion, ignition lag. Now, why it takes time? The reason being that when spark is introduced, then the molecules of air and fuel inside the region of that spark, first of all, they reaches to the excited state, because combustion is also a sort of chemical reaction, exothermic chemical reaction. So first of all, they will absorb energy, the temperature will rise and they will reach to the excited state so that they can chemically combine and reaction could start. Okay, so due to that reason, when spark is introduced at the same time, the flame doesn't develops. It takes some time. So that time duration is called as ignition lag. This is the first phase of combustion. Now what will happen? The crackers will start exploding one by one. Like same what will happen? Initially it was the nucleus of flame. Now the air and fuel molecules which are surrounding this flame nucleus, they will get energy from this flame. So they will burn, and then the molecules which are closer to that flame, they will get energy and they will burn. So like this, a chain reaction will start. So this phase is called as flame propagation. You can see flame is propagating. Like same, that crackers are one by one exploding. The nucleus of flame is now propagating. It is growing big. So this phase is called as second phase of combustion, flame propagation. So ultimately, flame travels through the entire inner cylinder. Okay. Now you would have observed that in the strings of this fireworks, few crackers might be there which did not burn when the entire chain was burning. They burn afterwards. Like same here also it can happen that when flame is propagating, there can be some chunks of charge, small, maybe small in size. They remain unburnt when the flame was propagating due to known and unknown reasons. Like same that of this cracker string, that some crackers explode afterwards. Like same here also, when the flame propagation will end, there can be some masses of charge, some lumps of charge which did not burn at the time when flame was propagating. So they will burn afterwards. So this is the third phase of combustion after burning. You can see the crackers burnt afterwards. So third phase of combustion is after burning. So these are the three phases of combustion in SI engine. Those are ignition lag. First phase, it means spark is introduced to the mixture. However, the ignition doesn't start. This takes some time to develop the nucleus of flame. So that time duration is called as ignition lag. Once that nucleus is formed, then that flame starts propagating inside the cylinder. So that phase is called as flame propagation. But when the flame propagation executes, there can be some lumps of charge which burns afterwards. Due to known or unknown reasons, they did not burn on time. So they burns afterwards. That phase is called as after burning. So these are the three phases of combustion in SI engine by the help of this cracker analogy, we understood this. Okay. Now, what is knocking? Imagine that the same chain of firecracker is thrown inside a furnace in which hot flue gases are there. Means instead of igniting the fuse, the entire chain of cracker is thrown inside a hot furnace. Hot flue gases are moving inside. You can see. Okay. So in case we apply the same analogy on the engine, what happens? Suppose the cylinder's temperature is too much high. Here, the environment surrounding the firecracker string have too much high temperature. Like same, suppose the cylinder temperature is too much high. What will happen in case the temperature of cylinder crosses a particular threshold? Then that temperature is sufficient to ignite the charge on the inner surface of the cylinder. You can see these are some spots where automatically some charge has been ignited. This can be understood by this thing that you would have observed in a cauldron while cooking food. In case you are taking the cauldron and putting some oil, and the temperature is too much high, then the oil automatically catches fire. Like same, in case the cylinder temperature is too much high, then there can be some spots where the flame starts developing automatically. Means normally the flame must start from the electrode gap of the spark plug, but due to high temperature, new multiple flame fronts can be developed inside the hot cylinder. You can see this flame front, this flame front, this flame front. Now, what will happen? Multiple flame fronts will start flame propagation inside a cylinder. Means the cylinder inner surface is acting as a source of multiple spark plugs due to high temperature. So many flame fronts in case will travel to the cylinder, then entire charge will burn at once in a very short interval of time. Like same as cracker string is thrown inside the furnace, since all the crackers are at high temperature, all of them will explode almost at the same instant. So what will happen due to this thing? See, in normal combustion, the flame travels like this. So when flame travels like this, the pressure inside the cylinder rises, but the rise is gradual because you can see flame is traveling with a particular speed. Gradually it is progressing. Okay. So the pressure rise inside the cylinder due to that addition of heat is gradual. But in this case, what happens? Since the entire charge is burnt in a very short interval of time, maybe 10 times as compared to that of when normally the flame was progressing. So if the pressure rise is very speedy, it will put an impact on the face of this piston, that is called as piston crown. So this impactful pressure developed on the crown of the piston can develop mechanical stress on the piston, because piston is normally made up of aluminum alloy which is very soft. So this can shear off the top surface of the piston. So in that case, the engine will fail to work. So now we will understand what knocking is. See, in normal combustion, the pressure rise in the cylinder will be gradual or smooth. That I already told, that from the spark plug, the flame will propagate and the pressure rise inside the cylinder is smooth. However, in knocking, it is an abnormal type of combustion in which pressure rise inside the cylinder becomes too much speedy, which can impart shock on the relevant peripherals, especially the piston crown, and can reduce the engine life. It can shear off the piston, it can break the piston like this, so engine will fail to work. Okay. Now, too much high temperature results in knocking by two ways. What I told, one, the multiple flame fronts will be developed. Second is, in case temperature is too much high, then combustion is a sort of chemical reaction I already told. If the temperature of a chemical reaction increases, the rate of chemical reaction also increases. So by two ways, the pressure rise becomes speedy, so it can impart impactful force on the piston crown. Second main reason is bad quality of fuel is used, means the quality is determined by the octane number. So in case low octane number fuel we are using, then it can lead to knocking. Okay. Further, so main cause of knocking is temperature. Then all those factors which controls the cylinder temperature will control the knocking also. For example, in case high compression ratio is there, what is compression ratio? Initial volume of the cylinder, and then after compression, the volume of the cylinder. That is the clearest volume. So V1 by V2. Since compression is adiabatic in nature, so high compression ratio means what? It will lead to high temperature rise. Adiabatic compression always increases temperature. So higher the compression ratio will be, higher the temperature rise will be. So temperature rise will lead to knocking. Second, high coolant temperature. High coolant temperature means the job of coolant is what? To reduce the cylinder temperature. So in case the temperature of coolant is already high, how it will cool the cylinder? It can lead to knocking. High charge temperature. The charge which is pulled inside the cylinder, suppose it is already of high temperature. So if initial temperature is high, then after compression, the temperature is even more high. Okay, so in that case also it can lead to knocking. Okay, so hope by the help of this small lecture you would have understood the phases of combustion and knocking of SI engine. Thank you.